Hi Pisces, welcome to your week ahead horoscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Pisces, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general reads. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week this week, you have your card, or certainly a card that speaks to your energy, because it is the Hanged Man. Now you can talk about this as being delays or stasis or all of that stuff. I like to see this card as being one of spirituality, and true spirituality at that. Why? Because it's talking about acceptance, accepting things exactly as they are. And when we do that, when we surrender to the way that things are at this moment in time, this is the best way to get what you want. Why? Because sometimes it's already on its way to you. This suggests that over the course of this week, a few things are going to happen for you. One, there is a peace and a stillness that is going to find you this week, right? Where you'll just be like, okay, you know what? Maybe I'm in limbo. Maybe I'm in a weird place. Maybe I'm whatever. But you know what? That's cool. Whatever place I'm in right now, at least I'm in a place, right? And that acceptance this week is really going to bring a much steadier and calmer energy for you, which is actually very, very exciting. What I will say to you with this card as well, though, it does often speak to where we could stop giving too much to others, right? So this might be a time where you're having to really look at what you're putting in versus what you're getting out, etc. But for the most part, like I said, this is definitely a week for you to go within, because that inner self is going to ask for something. Now, when it comes to your, for those of you that are continued subbies, Rafi loves ya. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and this resonates, hit the subscribe button. For your actions and options this week, you've got the Lovers card. Love, relationships, partnerships, definitely highlighted for you. Why? Because this week on the 17th, we've got a powerful full moon in the sign of Cancer, which is your 5th house, right? So this is all to do with love, romance, partnerships, sensuality, sexuality, creativity, the joy of creating just because you get to create. That full moon is offering a really nice energy to you. It's giving a really positive energy flow for you, and it's offering a trine to your own sign, which suggests that some good could come out of this full moon in the areas that I've mentioned, right? So the Lovers card, for those of you that are single, maybe this week you say to yourself, actually, you know what? I think I'm ready to date. I think I'm ready to get out there. I think I'm ready to meet someone. This will see you making a very deep choice on the internal level to look after yourself, right? But more importantly, to partner yourself, right? So this suggests to me that this week you are opening up to love, right? And you know me, I'm not one of these like every week it's all about love readers. That's why there's a love sector for people that do want to know about that stuff. But I kind of feel like relationships, partnerships are really to the forefront this week, and it may be that a part of the new narrative that you're starting to write, or maybe the thing that you're starting to accept, is that actually I'm ready for a new partner. If you're already in a relationship, this suggests that maybe through some sort of communication, through some sort of talking or some sort of reconnection or collaboration, relationships are really going to start to progress for you, which is nice. For your communications and conversations, you've got the 10 of Swords. So this may be a week for you to lie low, all right? When it comes to the work, when it comes to the profession, this might not necessarily, in fact it's definitely not the best week to initiate anything. Why? Mercury is already retrograde in the sign of Aquarius and will retrograde back into the sign of Capricorn. So especially for those of you that are Pisces ascendants, Mercury is retrograding in the 12th house, right? So this could bring up all kinds of personal bad habits, to a lesser degree the sun and the moon, but it could also bring up some of where that negative self-talk is is loath to get you. So this week, my advice to you would be to clean up your mind. All right, when it comes to your the Venus retrograde, that's taking place in your 11th house, right, which is all to do with friendships, group associations. I wouldn't be surprised if an old friend shows up for you, somebody that you used to be friends with, somebody that you were probably very close to. It wouldn't be a surprise to me. With that 10 of Swords in the communications, it kind of feels like you're not interested. It's like, I don't care what you've got to say, I'm not here for it. Now, when it comes to the work sector, if you are employed by somebody else, this week I would lay low, right? The Hanged Man has a little bit of a nebulous energy about it anyway. You couple that then with the energy of the 10 of Swords. This could be a bust up that happens at work with with a colleague. It could be with some new policy that's coming out. It could be with the establishment. Like, I would say this week, keep your head low, all right? That way you get to avoid any of the crap that could potentially kick off. When it comes to those of you that are, come on brain, when it comes to those of you that are self-employed, business owners, etc., this may very well be a week where you're starting to consider some product or service is now outdated. This is where you're having to take something off the menu. It could just as easily be a client that you have, and potentially quite a big one, might decide that actually, we want to go with somebody else. And it's not because of anything that you did. I think it's more because of what they need isn't necessarily something that you want to, that you necessarily can or want to fulfill. And that's not a bad thing. If anything, that's actually a really good thing, because it's going to leave you open to better clients that are more suited to you, that you might actually be able to do less work with. All right, so keep that in mind. When it comes to your those of you that are retired, I would take a minute to think about what you're throwing out this week, whether this is items of clothing right through to friendships, associations. The reason I say this is it kind of feels like there's an agitation here somewhere. And I kind of feel like this is you, maybe like a restlessness, maybe it's like you just can't seem to sit still. And I think until you do, you're going to have that feeling. So find a way to get past it by doing nothing. For your love and relations, you got the Four of Pentacles. If you're in a partnership or a relationship, this is actually really nice because it suggests that there's a security here. Things tick over. There's no sort of massive changes or upheavals. I will say, for a select few of you, maybe there is a sticking point in the relationship that you just can't see eye to eye on. Maybe there's something that you just can't agree on. And it's not because anybody's right or wrong. It's because your viewpoints don't seem to be able to mix. I'll give you a really sort of mundane example of this would be, maybe your partner is jabbed and you choose not to be. And this is something that you just can't see eye to eye on, right? Don't let it be the thing that breaks you. That would be ridiculous. It might be something bigger than that. It might be something smaller than that. But just whatever your differing or opposing views are this week, don't let it get the better of you, all right? And then when it comes to your those of you that are single, honestly, I think you're open to the idea of love, right? And I think you're open to the idea of a new relationship. However, that Four of Pentacles does suggest that your viewpoint either on relationships or the type of people that you attract, something needs to shift there. And I kind of feel like until you do that work, you might think, okay, I'm open for love, universe, where are they? Something about your approach to relationships now needs to shift. And then for your money, you have the Six of Pentacles. So it's not the easiest of weeks, let's be honest, right? You've got the Six there, which is the Lover's card, and you've got the Six of Pentacles. Two sixes represents irritability. All right, and especially in this case, it can be balance, but this doesn't look like balance, not to me, not this week. You've got the Six of Pentacles here underneath the Ten of Swords. I kind of feel like there are opportunities in the work sphere, but the money doesn't seem to be right. And this is where that hanged man energy is going to come into play, right? You need to be comfortable with asking for what you feel you're worth. Maybe you need to start speaking up on it, right? So if you want a pay rise, if you want to change your prices, this is the time to get into it. If there's someone or something that you want to work with, this is the time to go after it, right? Maybe not fully initiate stuff because, you know, we've got 2 retrogrades, plus we've got the full moon. But this is the time to definitely start getting more intentional. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, this is going to be your neck, your throat, and your voice. And that sector of the body has come up for a fair few signs, which may mean that on the wider world stage, we're about to see something happen, especially because that area of the body has come up a lot and the star card has come up a lot. There's 2 ways this could show up: either some sort of mass censorship or some element of communication goes down this week and we don't have access to it. For the home and environment, 6 of Pentacles, this would be a really good time to start thinking about making your home more harmonious. This would also, on a really mundane or practical level, be a very good week to start looking at your expenses and where you can start streamlining them or releasing burdens and or things that you're paying for that you either don't use or don't need. For your full moon message, in that 5th house, you have the gate 54 and ambition. There are going to be pockets of opportunity that awake for you as a result of this full moon, but some of them you'll have to be prepared to move on. And there are potentials, because this card is actually about making money. There is potential because of this full moon for you to make money doing something that you actually enjoy versus something that you have to do. So be open to the possibilities. The full moon will show you what they are. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.